beautiful film you have made. It's gorgeous in every regard. Kids are big fans of the book. Can't wait to show it to them. I mean, this is one of those books that, from what I understand, having kids, like every single child like under 12 has read this book series. It's like Da Vinci Code for like the 12 and under set. Like, is that like a unique sort of kind of pressure, knowing how many millions of kids want to see this movie?
You know, I did feel a great responsibility, I think we all did as filmmakers, to get Peter Brown's story up on screen. And you know, there's always adaptation. So there were characters that we turned back on in order to make room for the themes to really like have room. And so that was one of the most important things about the translation. Also the way the film looks. We gave this film a groundbreaking look through great effort so that it would look the way that it should.
What can you say about Lupita and what only she could bring to this role?
You just said it. I think it's only she could have done what needed to be done with this character. I cannot overstate how much she worked on this, but also just how incredibly talented she is. The effort that she put on this, she took this very, very seriously, which I appreciated. And the results are there. Like, so much of this has to come just from her performance, because Roz the robot doesn't have any articulation on her face save for her lenses on her eyes. So what Lupita did for us, I can never repay. She is an incredible talent.
Was Roz named after Roz from Frasier? I've been wondering that. Did you ever ask Peter about that, if that was an influence?
Okay, so and I wish I had the right answer for this. If you really quickly research the word Rosum, there's a really interesting story behind it, and I've got to relearn this because I knew it and I forgot it. There's a really interesting story behind that word. It relates back to like where robots were first described, I think in literature.
Okay.
I'm getting that probably a little bit wrong, but there's a really interesting story behind that word.
Okay, so not Frasier influence.
No, it's got a really interesting origin, and I've got to relearn it because it's fascinating.
I was just relating her to, like, she's now one of the two most iconic Rozes in pop culture, but I was wondering if there was any influence there. Do you think we'll ever see a Wild Robot Iron Giant crossover? Is that within the realm of possibility?
I don't think that's possible, just because those are two very different time periods. I can say, well, robots maybe last a long time, so I shouldn't say that, because I was like, this one is very, it's in the future. The Iron Giant would have to hang around for quite a while to get to where Ross is.
Right. Yeah, but drawing early comparisons to Iron Giant in the best kind of way. I mean, just as beautiful. Is that something you embrace? Was that an influence for you at all? That film?
We in animation love that movie, and I love that film. I think it's incredible. It would be one that we aspire to, as far as the emotional depth of that movie. I think that it was a really interesting and worthwhile challenge to create, hopefully, an iconic robot that endures.
And what can you say? I mean, you talked about how sort of painstaking the process was to give this a fresh look, a different style of animation than we've ever seen. Can you talk a little bit more about that and sort of like what drove this particular style?
Yeah, I felt it was really important that this film look a particular way so that people saw it the right way, if that makes sense. The sophisticated look of this film was critical in I think the emotional wavelengths working. We really wanted to get away from that like CG look that we were so locked to for such a long time. And frankly, we were just lucky that technology had gotten to the point at DreamWorks that we could accomplish this. We were leveraging off of and leapfrogging off of Puss in Boots and Bad Guys, the Last Wish. Wait, I said that wrong. Bad Guys and Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Right.
Which they'd gotten away from that CG style and gotten a more illustrated style. But I asked how much further we could go with that. And they got this impressionistic painterly style that is absolutely groundbreaking and unique. Some
amazing folks in the supporting cast. I mean, what kind of feat was it to just get on Pedro Pascal's schedule? I mean, that guy's making like every franchise in the world right now.
We were very, very, I think, fortunate that he said yes to this. Yes, he's very, very busy, but he always made time for us. And those recording sessions for me were just magic. We captured stuff with him that is, well, if you go see the film, you'll hear it. He's just so incredibly charming, and his character, it's such perfect. I guess that's what you're doing. Like Christy Soper, our casting director, it's a perfect match. I think the character of that fox is the perfect vessel to pour Pedro's voice into. Because I think he's so charming and so
sly.
clever and sly.
Sly as a fox,
but really vulnerable. That's the thing I love about his character, is that Fink has a lot of damage inside that he reveals as the story goes on, that Roz is going to inadvertently discover and heal.